This is getting close to the end stage. Not done, obviously, but I want to go ahead and finish my sky next, and then that way when I define the building and the trees, they are in front of the sky. So I want to do that next, and the reflection. Then I'm going to come in and again try to figure out exactly what's going on here with the waterfall so I can do that more convincing. And for the sky, I'm going to go ahead and put on a different color that's even a little duller. I want lots of pastel on the surface. I'm going to bring it up. Don't forget your sky goes all the way across, so what is over here needs to be over here as well a little bit. I also, you'll notice I have my pastels that I actually picked for this painting. I pull them out of my sets. That way I don't have to worry about picking up the wrong green later or the wrong yellow or blue. It really helps a lot. Okay. So at this point, real thick pastel because I'm getting ready to blend. And if I don't have enough pastel, it just is going to muddy it up. I want to come in here. And again, just letting it drag a little bit. Looking for highlights. And you'll notice I'm kind of moving across this way because that is what the water itself is doing. So if you want to get better at painting water, you want to start suggesting and painting the way you actually see the water moving. And you can also pick up some of these will drag as well. And we want some bright over there. Smaller marks. Love the variety of color and variety of marks. Your painting, whatever you're working on, will be better if you practice both of those. Okay, last step before I blend, I'm going to come back in with this darker color. And again, just dragging it across, getting a nice fall sky there. I'm going to go ahead and bring this across. And even though in the picture it's a lot brighter, I'm going to go ahead and drag that there. Now when I did that, what happened is it made this one plane. So just by suggesting that, that helped my waterfall. I'm going to suggest a little bit of the water coming over here. Now the thing about blending, be gentle. Don't be heavy-handed when you're doing it. And you want to think about what it is you're blending. And already you can see how that starts to look muddy. And my finger was clean. So basically the trick is to do a little bit of blending. A little bit of blending. I'm not concerned with a little bit of the few holes that are there. At this point, I'm actually going to go up to the top. And you can tell there wasn't as much pastel on the top. Now this won't matter because when I have my mat cut, I'm going to cut that edge off. But it doesn't blend as well when there's not as much pastel on the surface. Okay. And this is when it's so easy to get excited and then smear all the colors into each other. Trying to be methodical. And again, I don't want to outline, but I want to kind of suggest that edge. Very light on the surface. Use another clean finger. Okay, and now while I have this, I want to go ahead and start doing my blending on the water as well. This is really the trick when you're doing water and landscape. You want to address adding color, blending, blending. So you're really trying to go back and forth as much as you can. And it's very cool to have a little bit of the scratchy texture with some of the thicker blended pastel. And then I'll come back in and lay in more here soon. And you'll notice I keep standing back. Very important to see the overall impression of the water. And you really can feel this is starting to churn here. Now, at this point, I'm running into my easel, so I'm going to have to get creative. Let me pick this up just a little bit. And I want to vary the direction I'm blending as well. Okay, so now I'm going to come back in with my colors. This is the step that a lot of people forget about. Once you've blended, then come back in with your pastel, and it gives you that fresh, bright color again. And I can come in with some of the little marks here around the trees, around the edge of this. I want to step back and make sure that was accurate. Don't want an outline, so I'll kind of blend that out. I'm going to have that blue come back in. You'll notice I'm varying the direction. Really important. I suggested to stay away from black as much as you could, and also stay away from white until the very end. But of course with water, basically the best color you have for what I call the pop, the highlights, the brightest lights, are using the white, getting yourself a nice white. And if you cannot afford the hand-rolled, the handmade pastels yet, at least get yourself some really good darks and really good lights in an expensive handmade pastel. And your paintings will look a lot better because of it. Okay. And you can see starting to have a little bit more movement here, and I'm letting these colors cross. There's also you can see some of the reflection, and so I add those in, and then we're really starting to have a little bit better feel here. Just a little bit. This is what I mean by blending pastel with pastel. And don't worry about every little thing. Just have fun with it. Loosen up. Do some loose paintings, and then when you try to do more realistic stuff, they'll be better. They'll have a lot more character because they're looser and have that painterly feel. Another thing that is really important is I will not finish this whole pastel here. What I like to do is get a lot of it done, and then I put it away for a while. If I'm working on this river and I'm doing plein air, I'll get a lot of it done, maybe take a reference photo, and then I get away from it for a while, go back to the studio, put it up with a fresh eye, and decide what the strong points are, the weak areas, what I need to fix. So I think that's really important for me as a painter to not sit down and work on something from beginning to end, because again I'll get on autopilot. So right now the areas I like, the sky is working, I like what's happening here, there's a nice feel. I need to resolve the architecture and the dark as well as the waterfall, but if I keep just pushing through and adding color, it's not going to be as strong as if I put it away and come back to it, and then I'm going to do a better job finishing it. So that's it, and I'll show you what it looks like in the studio after I'm done.